Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It's December 23rd, 2024, and it's late in the afternoon, and I wanted to talk about thieves, thefts, burglary, illegal entries, the things that are stolen, not only from regular people, but particularly from targeted people. And the reason is that I want to focus on this is because it happens to me on a very regular basis here. It's happened on a regular basis since I lived at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner. Not only have they been stealing from me personally, but stealing from my nonprofit, stealing inventory, stealing new items, old items, but they like to focus on the new items, especially the valuable new items. So since I moved here, I have been documenting, listing, and of course, it's not an exhaustive list because, days go by, you forget to write it down. It's just total chaos. But I have compiled a list every year that I've lived here. In 2019, I provided one to the former sheriff, Paul Hayes. I also provided him one in 2020, 2021, and 2022. To date, no investigation has performed, no items have been returned. I provided one to the current sheriff at the beginning of last year for 2023, and I just emailed it, and I will send it certified mail, return receipt requested, when I get to the post office, for 2024. But first, let's discuss what is a theft, right? What is a theft? So I'm on Justia, Justia. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. Theft crime laws. While theft crimes may seem less serious than some offenses, a conviction still may result in penalties such as imprisonment, fine, and restitution. It also may complicate efforts to pursue certain careers or achieve other personal or professional goals. Someone who has been arrested on suspicion of theft or a similar crime should not even try to explain their side of the story to the police directly. Instead, they should discuss what happened with an experienced attorney. So what are the type of theft crimes? Well, there's larceny. That involves unlawfully taking someone else's property with the intent to deprive them of it. Some states have enacted statutes specific to the theft of certain types of property. For example, a prosecutor may charge a motor vehicle theft known as a grand theft auto under a different provision from the main larceny or theft statute. Someone who takes merchandise from a store without paying for it may face prosecution under the distinctive shoplifting statute. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when somebody enters your private property, your private residence, an apartment, a home, your private store, your shed, a locked building, even if it's not locked, somebody illegally enters, trespassing first, right? In order to commit the crime of theft, the individual usually needs to trespass first. Number one, trespassing. This is a premeditated crime, right? They have to illegally trespass your property. They're surveilling, which is called stalking. Surveillance is a form of stalking. Watching what somebody's doing so they can execute their crimes of theft, right? So it's a premeditated crime. They first have to think about it, plan it out, plot it, scheme it. Illegally trespass. That's already a crime. Trespassing, stalking, surveillance. These are all crimes. Illegally entered somebody's personal business, property, home, apartment. Right? It's illegal. It's considered to be burglary. Theft crimes often include offenses that involve taking property under certain circumstances, like embezzlement occurs when somebody misappropriates property that they were entrusted with handling or managing. A prosecutor might charge robbery if the defendant committed theft while using threatening force. Well, somebody just walks into your house and takes stuff all the time. Although it is technically not a type of theft, burglary is a serious crime, often associated with theft. It generally involves the unauthorized entry of a building or other specified structure or space with the intent to commit a crime once inside. And this is what happens with targeted people. Burglary is a serious crime when it's associated with theft. So it involves the unauthorized entry into a building or other structure, a space, with the intent. The key word, the intent, is to commit a crime inside. Well, they've already committed a crime of trespassing. They've already committed a crime of stalking and illegal surveillance. They've already committed a crime with illegal entry. And then when they go and steal something from inside, they have committed a crime, right? So I want to talk about that. There are penalties, by the way, for theft crimes. The potential sentence for larceny and other generic forms of theft depends on the value of the property and what the defendant took. For example, and it varies by state, if someone steals $500 worth of property, okay, do you hear that? Worth of property. It doesn't have to be $500 per piece of property. Worth of property. That could be cumulative. They would likely face up to 6 months in Texas, 1 year in Michigan, and 5 years in Pennsylvania. And somebody who steals $5,000 worth of property is likely to face 180 days to 2 years in Texas, 5 years in Michigan, and up to 7 years in Pennsylvania. More serious crimes such as robbery and burglary carry greater penalties. For example, if you're convicted of robbery without aggravating factors, like a weapon, you could face up to 15 years in prison in Florida, 3 to 7 in Illinois, 2 to 20 in Texas. Burglary sentences may be based upon the type of place that the defendant illegally entered or whether anyone was present. Oh, yeah. Colorado imposes 4 to 12 years of burglary involved in a dwelling, but 2 to 6 years otherwise. Burglary in Pennsylvania carries 10 years. But a defendant might actually face up to 20 years if they entered a building or occupied structure adapted for overnight accommodations, meaning somebody sleeping there, or if somebody was present when the offense occurred, like if I'm walking around on my property and somebody creeps into my house, right? So I sent, in 2023, I sent a letter to Daniel Isaacs, Chevrolet Daniel Isaacs, of the 2023 items stolen at my property. I never received a response back. And they're by date, like February 9. I had new pecan honey, $18 stolen. New organic peanut butter stolen from the kitchen. A 9-month-old hen and 7-month-old guinea fowl stolen. January to February, essential oil of rosemary. A black pet bowl. A French hair clip. Coffee cubes from the kitchen counter. Organic soup from the hallway. My cat paws disappeared. All of my colored index cards. Spearmint oil. My cat Chiclet was harmed by an electronic device, possibly a taser, and died. Roosters harmed with a hole in the wing and feathers pulled apart on 2 roosters. A velvet drawstring bag with mini tarot cards and hand-drawn art card inside was on my bed, and that was stolen. In May of 2023, my new master padlock was stolen, $18.95. Another padlock, a 3-pack, $23.95. A stolen bucket of my water catchment for my chicken coop, $25. Another one, $13.95. A stolen valued $68 to $100, my mom's scarf, a whole bunch of things that belonged to my mother, stolen. One was $68. And then, of course, there's the heavy-duty mast that was stolen from my driveway, valued at approximately $600. I later found out it was valued at $900. Sometime in November, my new vitamins disappeared. Stolen from the sofa, a new discus padlock, $10.99. Stolen from my sofa, another padlock, $17.11. Dawn dish detergent stolen from my laundry room. A green feeder dish stolen. I mean, the list goes on, okay? It gets a little bit better in 2014 because I totaled up the value. In 2024, to date so far, $7,050.69. This does not include the value of vandalized items. And I'll just give you a quickie on this. All of my radiation protection devices were stolen. My headband for $24.95, another headband $24.95, another headband $30.69, my black winter hat $7.98, titanium women's bracelet $27.99. 3 books. One was $35, one was $26. My EMF cap was stolen 3 times. One was $95.95, one was $49.95. One of my hand crank radios, $69.99, stolen. Yeah, all of this stuff stolen. Porch lights stolen. All of this stuff was stolen. My glasses stolen. Okay, so I sent this to Sheriff Daniel Isaacs. And we all know as targeted people that sometimes they steal items and then months later return it. I'm not counting on items that are returned months later. I'm including items that were stolen, and I know exactly when they were stolen. Okay? If they want to creep into my house and make it appear like, oh, we're all crazy, you know, and then return it and put it in a place that it wasn't originally, that's not going to work for me. It's sort of like a few years ago, they stole my mother's wedding ring. I'm not going to go into what it looked like or whatever, but it was missing for 3 weeks. I reported it. There was no investigation performed. I called around all the pawn shops around here. Nobody knew of it. Well, back 3 weeks later, I walk into my chicken coop, and right there on the stairs, you know the stairs that I walk up every day, 3, 4, 5, 8 times a day? Smack in the middle of the staircase, my mother's wedding ring. I'm not playing these games. This is not a game. My life is not a game. These intelligence agencies that set up innocent people, they all need to be in prison. And if sheriffs around the country want to go along to get along, I'm not going to shut up about it. And it's sort of like I purchased this a beauty mask. It's clay. I have not used it. It's been sitting inside. And the reason is at night I'm so tired it was wrapped. I finally unwrapped it. I used it once. I went to use it last night, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to show you the triangle that was cut into it. See that? My new clay mask. And by the way, when I used it, I tapped the cover. And I just dabbed it on a couple of places on my face. I didn't use a whole mask. But this is what it looked like last night. I don't find this funny. destroying people's lives for profit. The police are involved, the fusion centers, your neighbors. They think it's funny. And I need to add, what about the theft of my trees? What about the theft of the beauty of my property that they've destroyed? What about the theft of all the vandalized things on my property, like the 3 greenhouses that were taken down? Or the shrubs that were burned and sliced? The soil and rock that was stolen from the stream and the creek? I don't even have a value to place on that. But I promise that in 2025, my property will sell for exactly what I want for it. And I will be gone. And I will have no problem saying goodbye to the state of Kentucky. And while, it's pretty bad in New Jersey, I can't say that I hate New Jersey. New Jersey was a great state to live in. The people are a mixture of New Yorkers and New Jerseyans and all over the place. People really care about animals in New Jersey, to the point where they have very strict animal laws. People really care about searching for lost animals and post information online. They care about the community by posting information that they see. Not here. The people here, self-absorbed, self-centered, self-entitled. I live in a loser community. That's the way I look at it. And in the not too distant future, I will tell you about the honeypot, the honey trap perp neighbor. The one that likes to give animals. Yeah, that one. I call her Jezebel because she's a Jezebel. And we'll be discussing her in another video for another day. But this topic is about thieves. Burglary is an unauthorized entry to a building or space with the intent to commit a crime once inside of it. Please leave a comment down below. Have you been burglarized? Over this last year, how much was stolen out of your apartment or home or your property? Feel free to share if you're inclined to do so. Have you reported the thefts? Have you reported them to an insurance company? If so, what happened? Have you reported the thefts to law enforcement? What happened? Was there ever an investigation? But anyway, I look forward to your comments down below. And here you go. My brand new face mask. There you go. The Loser Club. The Triangle Loser Club. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, signing off for now.